Sharpton was on French television, of all places, today, where he praised the NFL players who are refusing to stand for the national anthem. Praised them. Watch.
The NFL players have demonstrated a real sense of courage to stand up, use their platform to add to others who have already done the same.
Joining us right now for reaction, Lawrence Jones, a host on the Blaze TV, and Richard Fowler, a radio talk show host and Fox News contributor. Good to see you both. Lawrence, I don't know.
Good to be here.
It's just me. But
hey there, Trish.
I just say, you know, if you're hired to play a game like football, why are you trying to turn that game into a political event? I mean, can't you just express your displeasure with the country on your own time?
Yeah, I think this whole debate about the whole kneeling national anthem is virtue signaling, but I do think there's real issues that we can discuss when it comes to the police and community policing. But the person that started this movement, I don't understand how Al Sharpton could say that he had courage, which is Colin Kaepernick, when he was on the cover of magazines, when he was a NFL Super Bowl contestant in the Super Bowl. He wasn't talking about any of this stuff. It wasn't until his career was actually going down when he started to bring this issue to the spotlight. So I don't think that's courage. I think this is just an opportunist.
Richard?
Well, I think this goes beyond Colin, and I think this goes beyond Reverend Sharpton, to be frank, Trish, and I think this speaks to a larger issue. So this is a manufactured crisis created by the president, right? One, he tweeted and sort of created this whole thing. Remember, there was a couple players kneeling. They were talking about racial oppression. They were talking about injustice. The president weighed in, and here we are a month later, and to be frank, the needle hasn't moved at all. Those people who agreed with Colin and those people who agreed with the 200 players that kneel at the high end still agree with them. And those who disagree with the players still disagree with them.
All right, I'm going to jump in. A couple things here. Richard, you know,
and that hasn't changed in a month.
Hang on. For starters, yes, the president originally brought this up in response to Colin Kaepernick. However, the players then embraced this issue themselves. They could have let it go. No, they didn't. They had to take a stand instead of just going out there playing the game. So now it's become an issue. And bottom line for the NFL is that this is going to come down to money, because guess what, Lawrence? Americans don't want to see it. They want to watch a game. They don't want to see these protests from all these players. Like I said in the beginning, do it on your own time.
Private businesses have a right to actually fire players because of it as well, and it's because of their bottom line. But to Richard's points about the president bringing this up, which I have criticized the president for calling the SOBs, but here's the deal. The people that are kneeling today weren't kneeling for Kaepernick. They're kneeling against Donald Trump. We're not talking about criminal justice reform anymore. We're not talking about the issues facing the community. This is an anti-Donald Trump protest. As a matter of fact, the players. Hold on, Richard. Hold on. Let me finish. The players' union were silent for Colin Kaepernick. It wasn't until the president said something that they made a statement against the president. They weren't supporting Colin Kaepernick.
Well, that's not true, though. I mean, Roger Goodell's statement today.
No, that's true. It's a fact.
Can I finish? Roger statement today said, while we hope our players stand, we will work with our players to deal with the underlying issues of racial injustice. That's speaking to the issue. But once again,
so what do you
let me go back to...
No, I want to ask you about that. So do you think he cares? Do you think Roger Goodell cares about these players and racial injustice?
I do think Roger Goodell cares because of two things. One, I think you're right. This is a money issue. And here's the thing. The reason why the ratings go down is two score. The ratings are going down because there's an active boycott against the NFL by African Americans and the Kappa fraternity, which is the fraternity that Colin Kaepernick is a part of. So black people have tuned off.
Excuse me, wait a minute. Counter this, Richard, but I don't know if Roger Goodell really cares. I really don't know if he cares, and I'll tell you why.
I'll tell you why, sir.
Why wasn't he out in front of concussions? If he actually cared about his players, Richard Fowler, he would have actually done something about the concussion issue.
I never said he cared about the players. I said he cared about the money. And the money here is the fact that ratings are down. And ratings are down for two reasons. Ratings are down, number one, because African Americans have stopped watching football. And the ratings are down, number two, because people who think this is unpatriotic.
Americans have stopped watching football, Richard. Lawrence, how many people have I talked to in the last couple of weeks that say, I just can't watch it anymore? I cannot watch it anymore because I'm upset that this has turned into a political spectacle. Lawrence.
Not only that, advertisers are now pulling out of the game now. Look, like I said, Trish, if you want to talk about conversation with the police and the community, then I feel like that they could actually sit down with the president and talk about solutions to improve the community.
Absolutely.
Or when it comes to the police. But that's not what's happening. What's
but
happening
the president refuses to admit that there's even a problem.
They're trying to use this as a platform, and it's just
Right.
not the right time or place. Go out and do that on your
With
own
somebody
time. And I
else's
think
jersey.
ultimately,
Wait. Historically, though, athletes have always used their platform to do this. Muhammad Ali did it.
Okay.
Jackie Robinson
Okay,
did it.
well, then I'll
the
tell you
Olympic
what else.
athletes have done it. It's just
the
happened.
team
all the
owners have every
historically.
right. Okay, guys, nobody can hear each other because you're all talking. But I would say ultimately the team owners have the right to fire them in this particular case, and that may be what ultimately happens.
But
and
the needle
that'll
hasn't
spell
moved
real
at
trouble
all,
for the NFL.
Trish, nobody has moved at all. The needle has not moved. People are still on the same. The people are still on their sides. This has not moved the needle at all, which is the larger
Rich.
issue here.
The ratings have moved.
Thank you.